Yes,
And uh, should I? Okay.
go ahead.
Hi everyone. A very good morning. VIA welcomes you for its initiative on navigating crisis, which is a series which we are hosting for the entire volunteering. Today's topic is volunteering during COVID-19 situation, and we shall be talking about mental health initiative, crowd era supporting NGOs to fundraise, and global shapers initiative for the pandemic situation. So quickly giving you intro, as you know, first I'll introduce myself. I'm Poonam Khandelwal. I'm a chartered accountant by profession and managing partner for Venture Catalyst. So I take care of these startup investments. I myself invested in 15 odd startups by now, and very interesting times that we are going through. We are seeing a lot of pivoting of models by these young entrepreneurs. There are a lot of challenges because this time is unprecedented, and we still don't know what the outcome will be and how our lives are going to be impacted after this entire situation. And globally, there will be a lot of changes which we'll be seeing: lifestyle changes, cultural shift, the way we work. Probably work from home will become a cultural shift here. And women, probably, who were not able to work earlier, will be able to join the workforce sitting from their hometown. So there are a lot of things which we want to discuss. Today's topic, as briefed by me, is about entirely the volunteering initiative during this time, because such times require a lot of hand holding and support which we extend to each other in the community. So this is how we are going to live with this crisis, probably. So we have with us really three dynamic ladies here. Today is all ladies talk, I believe. So we have three dynamic girls here. Sanam is from Let's Talk. Sanam, hands up, please. Sanam,
Hi.
hi. Sanam is from Mumbai. Then we have Aditi from Crowdera. Hi, Aditi. And then we have
Hello.
Prerna. Then we have Prerna from Global Shapers. Hi, Prerna. Yeah. So three of us are from Nagpur, and Sanam is from Mumbai. So Sanam, to begin with you, can you give a brief introduction about what you do and all this initiative about Let's Talk, which sounds very interesting?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sanam. I'm a psychologist and a CBT practitioner based out of Mumbai. I basically help my clients modify their unhelpful thoughts and beliefs about different, seemingly difficult situations in life, and get them to turn them into more helpful and healthy ways so that they can lead productive and healthy lives. I also have experience working with children with special needs and extremely passionate about mental health and really glad to be part of this initiative called Let's Talk. So, just to give you a brief about Let's Talk, it is a completely volunteer driven initiative wherein we have launched a helpline to help people going through mental health concerns during this pandemic, which I think is absolutely necessary right now, even though a lot of people might think that it's not. Um, our team comprises of psychologists, psychotherapists, other mental health organizations, and even students who we are rigorously training before they are, able to take up calls. And we have also partnered with other organizations, which are some of them are mental health organizations, some of them are non-mental health organizations, just to reach out to more and more communities that we can. So, for example, we have partnered with different corporates and we're offering our services to their employees. We have partnered with organizations such as Wish Foundation, wherein we have outreach to healthcare workers, right? Because the frontline workers are the people who are right there and are so stressed, and they might even think that because they are looking at people suffering each day and looking at how stressed they are, they might just ignore their own mental health. So that is one challenge that I'm going to talk about later. And yeah, I mean, for the past few weeks and the next coming weeks, I think mental health care is something that is going to be very, very important for people to not only acknowledge but to accept and consciously work on, right? Because everything related to normalcy is just taken away from us, right? Our entire lives are disrupted. We're working from home, there is no work life balance because everything is all just mixed up into one super long working day, right? I personally feel, and literally everybody I've spoken to in this in the lockdown, I've heard that, they feel like they're working extra during lockdown, and their families are upset with them, like children are upset with parents because, why are you working all day and why are you on your laptop all day, and spend time with me. uh, Here another issue comes up, wherein the behavior of children are rapidly changing, right? Because they have lesser access to what is happening and lesser understanding of what is happening than we do. So for them, it is whatever is happening makes absolutely no sense, right? So for them, they probably think it's like a holiday mode, but then when they realize that, the parents are working all day, so then they might just have this, like, reality check that, okay, what is happening. So parents are having difficulty with their children. Then we move on to the frontline workers. As I said earlier, they are going through like a whole other, like they themselves are really stressed, and um, also the marginalized population. So now we come to people like daily wage earners, laborers, transgenders, people who are suffering from domestic violence, right? Because everybody is locked up in one tiny room or a tiny house, domestic violence is on the rise. uh, Things that we didn't even think about, like when when, like, on a regular day, I just got a call from an NGO wherein they told me that they wanted to know if our psychologists are well equipped to handle calls from girls who are forced into child marriage. So they said that, that the communities that they're working with, they have noticed a rise in child marriage because there is absolutely nothing to do, nowhere to go. So they're like, अच्छा कुछ नहीं है तो चलो शादी करा देते हैं, So that is one thing which I did not even think about. So where I'm finding out so many different communities and different types of mental health impact that we just weren't aware of earlier. So I'm really glad that we have initiated Let's Talk, because we're getting to know about a lot of different ways in which this new situation is affecting people. And it's just great to be of service to them.
Aditi, sorry, Sanam, I must appreciate the kind of work you're doing, because in our country, mental health is talking about mental health is a taboo. We do not
Yes,
openly discuss about it, and but there is a need. It's more of a latent market, but there is a need, and
absolutely.
everybody needs that therapist. Like any other general physician you have. Probably initiative what you guys are doing will bring a lot of change in this society. So I would quickly ask you, how many people are volunteering with you? How many therapists you have with you right now?
So we have over 300 volunteers who have applied
Wow.
to volunteer,
Uh-huh.
and it's been amazing. It is so overwhelming to see so many people take out times from their already so busy lives and come and
Mm-hmm.
work together for this initiative. It's just been amazing. Right now we have about 200 active volunteers, which
Okay.
comprises of student volunteers who are the frontline volunteers. So our process is basically that, suppose a person calls our helpline, we have a frontline volunteer who first picks up, uh,
Okay.
and they sort of, assess. So we because mental health is not, so, like, the awareness of mental health is not that much. Some people find it hard to distinguish whether their issue is a mental health issue or not. So we do get calls which are also not mental health issues, and which are just, general queries about COVID or about health concerns or anything like that. So we have the frontline volunteers who are distinguishing this, and if they feel like a call, like this caller requires more mental health attention, then they transfer the call to a senior psychologist.
Okay. So this
Right.
is entirely no fees is what you charge. It's absolutely free.
Absolutely free, and it's also absolutely confidential.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how many sessions people require usually? What is your
Uh, so
observation?
there are people who call once and they don't really feel the need to call again. But there are some people who call repeatedly, and we're trying to have a system in place where we can get the same person to speak to a repeat caller. But we've also trained our volunteers to handle a repeat caller in the right way,
Okay.
because
Okay.
they're anyway calling in distress. We don't want to call
Okay.
them and ask them to repeat everything again. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There needs to be that connect. So how
Yeah.
do if anybody wants to join, how do they connect if they want to volunteer?
Okay, so we have a page on Facebook, we have a page on Instagram. They can get in touch with us over there. However, right now we aren't
Okay.
taking, we're closed for volunteering right now. But if you are not part of mental health community, and if you don't have a mental health background, then you can absolutely, reach out to us, and we will find a place for you at Let's Talk.
Lovely. So you were talking that you said there were some challenges. So
Hmm.
what are these challenges that you're facing?
Right. Um, some of these are not really challenges, they're just things that we need to keep in mind before doing something like this. One is that we need to make sure everybody is qualified and is well trained, right? So
Hmm.
as I said, we're also taking up students now. Okay, they may not be addressing very severe mental health challenges, but they are also talking to people who are in distress and who are calling because they have nowhere else to go and they have nobody else to talk to and they don't know what is happening with them. So we needed to make sure that our volunteers were well trained, and thanks to our partners, our learning partners like Oust Labs, and we were able to prepare modules for our volunteers, and also thanks to our team who are working every day and answering questions from volunteers, and yeah, so the training was one thing that we needed to make sure was top notch. um,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is that our outreach. So we needed to make sure that we were reaching out to communities that did not have access to social media to come across our posts and our pictures and everything. So here also we needed to make sure that we were partnering with organizations that already had an outreach to rural communities, or as I said earlier, the healthcare workers.
Correct.
uh, yeah, so we had to make sure that we had all of the different communities, and we also are trying to tap the corporates.
Okay.
Yeah, that was another thing. Now the third very real challenge that we have, and I think every mental health professional is going to agree with me, is just the stigma.
Hmm.
you know
Yes.
uh, People, first of all, they're not aware. Secondly, even if they're aware, they're they have a misunderstanding somewhere, right? For people, mental health means mental illness, matlab something is wrong.
Ah, yes.
Right? If I go to a therapist, or if I talk to a counselor, there is something wrong with me, right?
Hmm.
Which is not the case. I mean, uh, yes, mental illness does come under mental health, but then there is also another part of this which is called mental wellness, right? So your regular things, right, like confidence, like relationship problems, self esteem, anger issues, right? All of this does not mean that there is something wrong with you. It's just, I mean, mental wellness is so intertwined with every aspect of our life that it's very, very
Mm-hmm.
hard to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we're not yet everybody, and just I think we as a country are very ignorant to this, and that was one challenge that we had. Even while we were promoting. We had to make sure not to use very, like we had to make sure not to use jargon while promoting. We had to try to normalize it as much as we could. Normalize it
Okay.
as much as we could. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the challenge in our country, that probably we do not accept that there is a need for a therapist. You need to talk, and this is a challenge, no doubt about it. Unless we are able to accept it as a society, that this
Right.
is the need of the hour. So, the uh, what domains do you think is most affected here? What kind of especially people they come up with, what problem do you see during this, especially the COVID times? The
Hmm.
entrepreneurs are facing problems, the housewives are, the business owners right now. So there is a
Right.
survival uh, problem what we can see here. We are all fighting for survivals. So what do you think?
Correct. So, as you said, the entrepreneurs, we have also partnered with certain non-mental health helplines, wherein we are providing our services to them. So,
Okay.
one of them, so a few of them are helplines which are catering to entrepreneurs, right?
Hmm.
So, absolutely, I think everybody is going through difficulty handling their finances right now, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
the more you have, the more you're going to worry about losing all of it. So, yeah, I think we're all dealing with similar issues at just at different levels, and
Mhm.
right now we are in survival mode, right? So we are going to
Okay.
find people to deal with, right? But what happens once the lockdown is lifted?
Yes.
The aftermath of this thing, of this entire situation, is going, I think, is going to be worse than what it is now. Dealing with
Hmm.
that is going to be worse than dealing with what we're doing now, because one is that everything is taken away from us, so there is loss, right? With loss
Hmm.
comes grief.
Correct.
So
Hmm.
dealing with that, it's like we are going back in time, and from there we have to build up and come back to a reasonable level of normalcy, right?
Okay.
So the
Yes.
aftermath is what is going to be very difficult, I'm sure, because of which, like, I hope we can continue to provide our services to people even after the lockdown lifts, because I think that is going to be extremely important.
Perfect, perfect. So, Sanam, last quick question. When did you started with this initiative? Let's talk.
We started this now. Okay, I've completely lost track of time and the date. It's May. Okay, so we started April, March. We started somewhere end of March,
End of
and
March.
yes,
And how
and
many lives you've reached till now?
sorry,
How many people you've already helped in last 2 months?
over 1,000
Wow,
people.
that's
Yes,
massive. That's massive. Some
yes,
some amazing work you guys are doing.
yes.
Uh, Sanam, anything you want to add up before we move on to the next topic from your side to our viewers?
Nothing much, but I'm just really glad that I got this platform to share about Let's Talk, because, like, the ideal situation is no calls, right? But I think people who do require mental health support, they should absolutely reach out and please call us. Uh, us or whoever else, whoever you're comfortable talking with, or any other helpline, or any therapist, or anybody, because I think it's absolutely necessary. And I think a lot of people find out that it's important only once they have tried.
Okay.
uh, so yeah, please reach out to us if you want.
Thank you so much, Sanam, for this amazing talk. Please stay
Thank
with
you.
us for the rest of the session we have.
Yes.
Next, I would welcome Aditi. Aditi, are you there? Hi, Aditi. Nice to meet you
Yes,
again.
hi,
So, Aditi
good
represents
morning.
Crowd. Good morning. Good morning. So, Aditi represents Crowd Era, which is a fundraising platform for NGOs, and we are glad that this startup is from Nagpur, doing really good. You can anytime go and check their website. So they're doing some amazing work for the overall startup community and also for the NGOs. So Aditi, quickly, I want to understand first if you can give a brief introduction more about yourself and Crowdera.
Sure. Hi. Thanks,
Hi.
Poonam.
Hi.
So
Yeah.
I have been associated with Crowdera for the last 7, 8 months now, and we have been, as a company, we have been around for almost 5 years and worked with over 1,500 NGOs and organizations and individuals and helped them raise funds. So a lot of organizations come to us because we are forever free. We do not dip into the donor dollars, and a lot of organizations and individuals find this very interesting. And yeah, so that's about us. We have developed a proprietary technology which helps organizations and individuals onboard teams to
Mm-hmm.
kind of help them raise funds and bring in the transparency effect as well. So all the funds raised are publicly available. The data is publicly available, I mean, and people can see who's raising, how the funds are coming in, and how the funds are utilized as well on the campaign page and the website page itself.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's very interesting because all other crowdfunding platforms they normally charge a percentage. So what I know of Crowdera is that it's absolutely free. So that's very interesting thing to know about you guys. So I want to understand that how do you handhold these NGOs for fundraising activity? Because what I can understand, NGOs obviously they've been raising donations offline by meeting people, explaining them, but how do they do everything online? They're getting donation from Australia, US. So how do you help them make a campaign attractive?
So we work with them very closely on creating a campaign, helping them understand how the website functions, how technology functions, how can they, leverage this platform and use the marketing prowess to reach out to more donors and raise good amounts of funds. We help them also strategize on the campaign front. So those are some of the ways in which we're involved with the NGOs. Primarily, I think for them, what is exciting is the proprietary technology that we have developed, so they can onboard their vendors, they can onboard their friends and family members on the campaign page itself to help them raise funds.
Hmm. Okay. So
Yeah.
is it like anybody who wants to raise fund can come to Crowdera, or do you have a mechanism that you curate? Is there a curation process from your end?
So anyone who wishes to raise funds is welcome to raise funds on the platform.
I mean to ask, do you have a curation process, or anybody can just log in their campaign?
Yes. Yes, sorry, I think you were breaking up in between. So
Okay.
we do have a vetting process in place,
Okay.
and once the organization or the individual registers on the portal for the campaign, we try and see and also find out what is their background, what are the kind of documents they hold, and how authentic the organization or the individual is who's raising funds. So yeah, they do go through a vetting checklist, so-called vetting checklist. It's a 16-point checklist that we have
Okay.
created at
Mhm.
our end.
Okay. Okay. 16 points. Okay. Perfect. So how much time it takes? So if I start an activity today on your website, so how much time it takes for you to vet my project? Usually, what is the time?
Usually, it is just about 24 hours to 48
Wow.
hours.
Wow.
Owing to COVID, we of course have a lot of traffic right now on the site. So yeah, please bear with us while we vet the organization.
Okay. One quick thing we would want to hear from you is, are there any success stories during this COVID scenario, considering the current scenario? Can you just cite one example? Aditi, are you there? Hello? I guess we've lost touch
It's
with
about,
Aditi.
yes,
Hello?
sorry. Someone just, because I'm on a hotspot, someone just called me on my phone and the
Okay, okay.
internet just went off.
Now
Sorry for that.
we all
So
understand that. Yeah.
it's
Yes.
all work from home right now, so these tech challenges.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had Dr. Amit Samarth actually raising over 2 lakhs, I think, in about 48 hours through our platform. This
Mm-hmm.
happened couple of days back, and for the cause of COVID, Dr. Amit Samarth cycled for 48 hours and raised over 2 lakhs in which is going to be donated to the Nagpur police for COVID relief. So that's one of the very new successes coming out from our platform. We also have Dehat, which has Katrina Kaif as the ambassador, and they're raising quite well. In just about
Okay.
48 hours, I think they also raised over they raised quite a good amount. This campaign went live last week, and they're doing quite well too. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
Parallel to this, we have also started our own fundraiser for NGOs all across the country. So we are supporting over 12 NGOs, raising funds for COVID relief. They're all working with daily wages and laborers and providing ration and essentials to them. So
Okay.
that fundraiser is also live, and yeah, going quite well.
Lovely, lovely. So very
Good.
interesting time, interesting solutions that we're working on. So highly impressed with the kind of work you guys are doing. So quickly, if you can just brief about the people who donate, which geographies they belong on the Crowd Era platform. So are they only from Nagpur, Maharashtra, India, or globally?
Oh no, actually, it's global. In fact, yesterday we were looking at some of the campaigns that are raising funds, and we have a Japanese national raising funds on our platform, and they have raised
Mhm.
almost over 300% of the goal amount already. So we're receiving donations from all over the world. In fact, for Amit Samarth's campaign as well, we received funds from outside the country as well. So we are accepting international donations for the campaigns which go live
Mm-hmm.
at our end. And of course, it's all free. So all the money is all yours. So that's the icing on the cake.
Okay. Yeah, that's the icing on the cake, no doubt about it. So, absolutely a delight to hear from you, Aditi. Please stay there while we get Prerna with us, another young lady. Prerna, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Prerna.
Hi.
Good to have you, Prerna. So, quickly about you, you are part of Global Shapers Community, which is a WEF initiative, and you are young people trying to make some, positive change in the society, global community. So, first of all, Prerna, if you can give us an introduction of what you guys do at Global Shapers.
Okay, so I'm Prerna. I am a final year MBBS student, and I'm also the vice curator of Global Shapers right now. So, Global Shapers community is a World Economic Forum initiative. It has been in existence for about 9-10 years, and it is a very diverse community because it's in there are in it is in 450 cities across the world, and there are about 9,000 members. So. So what each hub does is they do the better things environment of that city and the neighboring rural areas. So the Nagpur hub has been there for about 4 years now, and it works in different domains like the prime is climate change awareness, menstrual hygiene, and also social entrepreneurship. And then there are other initiatives like for water conservation and things like that. So that's about Global Shapers.
Okay. So how does one join the group if there are people who want to join Global Shapers Nagpur Hub? We might be having people from different geographies viewing this. So how does one become a part of the community?
So the one little requirement is because most of the projects are on ground. So we require the person to stay in Nagpur for about a year, for 8 to 10 months at least. And the age group is 20 to 30 years, and
Okay.
has the dynamic people. So that is it. And also, so the interview process is the same. It is a group discussion, and then there is an interview. Then there is a probation period for 2 months where we see, because it is a voluntary organization, we've had some bad experiences, but so we see in 2 months how they are working. And then, so once you are a part of Global Shapers, then because it is an international organization, there is a lot of exposure. You can connect with literally anybody across the globe. So, and then there are conferences and also shape events that happen in for different regions. So yeah, there are a lot of perks, and there is not a lot of work.
Okay. Excellent. So, Prerna, if you want to talk about some initiatives which you've been doing under Nagpur Hub, if you can just elaborate on one or two of them.
Yes. So I am. So we have a project lead for every project. So the first project that we had started was Shades of Blue, which basically aims at climate change mitigation. So what we do is we target students who are learning that in their geography modules and everything, so that and students have a very impressionable mind. So we tell them what the future of the planet will be. And
Mhm.
so that is one that's called Shape. Then we have another project which is called On My Period, which is for menstrual hygiene awareness and also breast self examination. Things that are very little that you can, for example, if we take breast self examination, most of the disorders are diagnosed when you do it yourself. So that is on a period where we target people who are from the lower socioeconomic backgrounds. So we also give them a period kit which has essentials. It has a nice little booklet which has cartoony pictures of explaining the whole process. And the third, which was really successful, was Social Entrepreneurship Forum, which we did with Brooks Ecosystems under PMUA. And because Abhijit is also a global shaper, so there we helped students from the not so affluent backgrounds to to give them mentorship over their own innovations and startups. So those are the initiatives which have been going on. But because they were on ground, so during the COVID times, we have taken up an initiative which is called mental well-being. So
Okay.
because there are a lot of people who who think that they don't need help, but they're also frustrated and very. So I got this
I think
idea because I am a student and I have a lot of friends who had this feeling of being stuck because we go to college and everything has been turned online. And as a medical student, I'm not very used to using technology a lot. So, so there we. Am I audible now?
yeah, you are.
So that really just aims at connecting a lot of people over in a group. So it also aims at giving them guidance over meditation and and the grounding techniques that we have. And also with that, we have little fun activities in the group every day. So that's about it. We've had a really good response in that particular domain. So yeah.
Yeah. So, Prerna, if you could quickly talk about the GS activities during the COVID-19 situation in SCE and globally.
Okay. So so there are I'll divide it into two. One is what the other hubs are also doing, like Nagpur Hub
Yes.
has taken up the mental wellness initiative. So uh, uh, there are a lot of hubs who are doing really diverse things. So we have hubs from Sri Lanka which are working at fundraising for providing food to the lower socioeconomic background people. And then we have from Delhi, we have they're working on art therapy and providing sessions on that. And one very interesting thing that is going on is we have an Indo-Pak series, which is connecting shapers from India and Pakistan, and then talking about what is going on in that in their country and what is going on in our country. So that and also there are hubs from Hyderabad. There's a hub from Hyderabad that is working on promoting the idea of sustainable fashion. So those are some of the initiatives. Then we also have individual shaper initiatives. For example, Group Shaper System under Abhijit, they are running the Leader project, which again helps everybody, helps people to get their innovative ideas, provides mentorship, and help them in the startup. And along with that, so it's a lot of things. We have a shaper from Bangalore who's working to give online therapy to people, who's a psychologist. So yeah, there are a lot of things going on, and it is really nice because Global Shapers is very diverse, but then it still brings us together in times like these.
Yeah, that's interesting. So probably you should touch base with Sanam, the Global Shapers in association
Yes.
with Let's Talk. Probably should come up with something interesting for community worldwide. You have so very interesting things you youngsters are doing. Frankly, I was rejected by the Global Shapers because of the age criteria you have. So that thing I'll take up personally. So. Prerna, anything you want to talk to our audience about why one should be part of this community? If you know there are people, young people, who want to be a part of social work, and how Global Shapers can probably help them, help the people in the backward region or people who are facing some serious problems. So, how do you talk about that?
So when I started working with Global Shapers, I just had this whole, I was going through this whole, I had this energy that I just want to do something other than studies. So that was going on. And I think Global Shapers is a really nice platform because there is not a lot of time commitment. It's like probably 7-8 hours in a week, which even students or working professionals can give in. And it's really nice because almost everybody that I have met wants to do something now and wants to do something out of the ordinary. And it is really easy. I mean, you don't have to aim to make a big change. You just have to do something that you can find happiness in. That is what I believe. That is what I still believe. So, yeah, Global Shapers, I think, is the best platform to actually just start with the whole thing, start with the passion that you have for social work. And also then there is you form global connections, which, and there is a lot of exposure you get to know. Frankly, I did not really understand a lot of things apart from my subject, but since joining Global Shapers, uh, you're just exposed to so much, and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but otherwise you're just exposed to so much that there's just a lot of education happening on that platform as well.
Oh. That's a very interesting piece of advice which you just gave, and why one should be part of this ever-growing youth community. Thank you so much, Prerna, for this insight. Aditi, if you're there, hi Aditi.
Yes,
Yes,
I think there is a
Aditi.
question.
Yeah, there is a question: how can individuals raise fund, or can individuals also raise fund, not just the NGO? And what is the onboarding process?
Yes, of course. Individuals. Amit Samarth is an individual, and he raised funds very successfully on our platform. In fact, his campaign is still live. So you can be an NGO, you can be an individual. In fact, companies have joined us to raise funds for COVID as well. So they want to engage with their employees and the vendors and raise funds for COVID and latch themselves with NGO to do some CSR and get on with the social impact as well. So we're working very closely with the Rapido and a bunch of other companies as well. In fact, here I would also like to add, and maybe some of you have also read it in the news, which was released a couple of days back, that we are actually giving out our proprietary technology for free for organizations and NGOs who are looking to raise funds. And this allows organizations to onboard their employees, their vendors as team members to the fundraiser and create a syndicate and amplify the fundraising. So, in simple words, it is 1 to 5 people raising funds. Instead of that, imagine these 5 people onboard another 5 people and raise funds for the cause. So it amplifies the fundraising efforts by 5 times directly. So that's the model we work on. It's called the network effect as well, which a lot of us might understand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everyone's welcome. Simply.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, Abhijit, are you there? Hello. Hi,
Yes, yes,
Abhijit.
I am
Yes.
here.
So probably we have. Hi, Abhijit. Good to see you. Yeah. So probably we've covered all the questions. Any closing remarks that you girls want to maybe give us during this such tough times? So starting with Sanam.
Hi again. I'm just really, really impressed with the work that we're all doing and what Prerna and Aditi mentioned today. And as I said earlier, it's just extremely beautiful and overwhelming uh, how so many people have just come together and are working to, help people in different ways. And it's just brilliant. And I'm really glad to be a part of such initiatives.
Thank you. Thank you. Aditi.
Yes, I am really glad that we are able to collaborate and contribute to the COVID-19 relief efforts by so many organizations across the country. And I would encourage people to donate generously because the scale of disaster that this COVID-19 is going to leave back is unimaginable. And some of the stories that we get to hear from the groundwork that all the NGOs are doing from even cities, right? Even metro cities. I am not even talking about villages. I don't even want to get there. It is really horrific, and I think they need us right now. And I would encourage everyone to come forward to help in whichever way they can. Thanks, Poonam.
Thanks. Thanks. Hi, Prerna. Over to you. One closing remark.
Um, as Sanam mentioned, I'm also feeling a little overwhelmed right now because uh, I don't know. It's just that every domain, every person needs help because these are such unprecedented times. I think nobody ever thought that we'd be knocked up like this. But it's good to know that so many people are so many things. So yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to interact with you and create some positive impacts during such tough times. So thank you so much, Abhijit. If you want to, probably if you can just give a vote of
Yes.
thanks and talk about the other initiatives we're doing with VIA.
Yeah, thank you. So just before closing, Sanam, maybe would you like to share the helpline number that you have so people who are in need they can just reach out to you guys?
Absolutely. So anybody who's going through any mental health issues, if you need any mental health support or just somebody to talk to, please call our helpline. It's we're at 844-844-9428. And yes, please give us a call.
Cool,
Thank you.
thank you. So thank you, Poonam, for hosting this. Uh, Poonam and I represent VI's Entrepreneurship Forum. I act as the convener for the forum. Poonam has been leading us as the chairperson for the entrepreneurship activities that we've been doing. While we had a lot of plans under VI during this summer time, but I think the COVID situation has asked us to move a lot of things online. So this is something that over the past 3 days that we've tried out, and it went really well. We had some really engaging uh, discussions with different people from different backgrounds. We're hoping to do more of these live sessions now uh, with different for entrepreneurs, and how can VI help entrepreneurs in the future. I think these are testing times for all of us. These are going to this is going to change the way we've been doing business, the way we've been running industries, and I think VIA has always been in the forefront of supporting entrepreneurs from all walks of life. And the entire leadership has been working closely with the administration here locally in Nagpur and providing them all support that it needs. We have a lot of other webinars, a lot of other discussions that are happening online. I'd request everyone to just share more, go across their VIA page and you can understand more about it. Uh, on a personal note, I've been working across with different volunteer initiatives. Also, we have a group called COVID Task Force where we are integrating with multiple initiatives and supporting them in terms of management expertise or volunteer support. And it has been really heartening to see what people have been able to do, the way different. Uh, different kind of organizations have stepped up in the COVID response. And I thank you, everyone, and I hope you all stay at home, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Abhijit.
Bye.
Stay safe. Bye.